And welcome to Prodigy Webinars, a brand new webinar series for teachers and parents about the current state of education, where it's headed, and how you can stay ahead of the curve. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Now, we will be having a live chat throughout today's webinar, so please feel free to submit your questions and we will do our best to answer as many as possible tonight. As well, this presentation will be including live poll questions that you can answer in the chat feature at the same time. Now, let's get started. I did want to say hi, of course, first to just introduce myself. My name is Matthew Geik, and I'm a teacher success specialist here at Prodigy. I help onboard schools by running live webinars just like this one, educating schools on all of Prodigy's amazing features that help them reach their math goals. I also support schools in having seamless experiences by helping educators to understand how to use our tools, roster teacher accounts, and answer any questions throughout their Prodigy journey. I'm extremely passionate about Prodigy and want to help educators around the world to embrace our game-based learning platform inside the classroom and out. That's right. For any parents also watching this webinar right now, you are educators too, and you have the ability to motivate and encourage your kids to love learning. And since this is our very first installment of Prodigy Webinars, we'd love to introduce ourselves and share our story with you about how Prodigy got started and our most ambitious mission. Features that teachers rave about and how they can help you to free up some time in the classroom. How parents can get their kids excited about math and also join the party with Prodigy. And how you can get involved today in less than 5 minutes and why you should. Of course, we're going to go over the student experience and how you can be the reason why your kids are excited to do math. Plus, you can expect future webinars from us down the line and some nice Q&A sessions. Well, we did want to start off today by asking the chat, what state are you tuning in here from today? Let us know down below. We're happy that so many people were able to attend today's webinar, of course. We have a whole bunch of Prodigy fans and advocates from all around the world, so we're excited to see where you're coming from. But of course, let's go over the Prodigy story. What is Prodigy and how did it all start? Although Prodigy began in 2011, the real story goes back all the way to our co-founder and co-CEO Rohan Mahimakar's childhood and how that story can be a lot of relatability for a lot of people going through math. As a child, Rohan came home from his tutoring center with endless stacks of math homework and had the same feeling every week. Learning math sucks. But what didn't suck was the excitement and joy he got from playing video games. Now, how are math sheets and video games related? Fast forward to 2011, when engineering students Rohan and CEO Alex Peters met and collaborated on a 4-year undergraduate project at the University of Waterloo. It was during this project that Alex and Rohan recognized what was missing from their childhood experiences of learning math. This missing piece is what led them to ask, why can't learning math be as fun as playing a video game? And so they started Smart Teacher, or as the world knows today, Prodigy. And they built the platform by scratch, listening from what students, teachers, administrators, parents, or guardians wanted in a supplemental math platform. After Prodigy's inception in 2011, the following year, they pitched their new business on CBC's Dragon's Den, where all 4 dragons made offers, which all of Rohan and Alex declined. Since then, Prodigy has gone from 3,000 local users to 50 million users worldwide. What a crazy amount of growth there alone. And such rapid growth has led Prodigy to become the fastest growing education startup in North America, with awards like Deloitte's Fast 50 and North America Technology Fast 500 3 years in a row to show for it. See, the goal was never really just to make a simple, fun math game. We believe that education is a basic human right. We believe that every child can succeed, regardless of the country they're born into. We believe that together, we can reimagine learning. And these beliefs are why Prodigy is on a mission to help every student in the world to love learning. And this does bring us to our first poll question of the night. I did have a little question here wondering, Who do you think invests the most funding on elementary and secondary school students? Let us know in the chat below. We'll give you a couple seconds to respond to this question, of course, and then we'll reveal the correct answer. All right, get those answers in because we're about to reveal. The correct answer was C, Luxembourg. And if you picked that, you were correct. In fact, OECD has recorded in their latest research study from 2015 to 2016 that Luxembourg has spent $20,900 per student alone. That's a crazy amount of money right there invested in education. But of course, this is important to all families and all educators around the world. But really, what is Prodigy? And I guess it really depends on who you're asking. For teachers, Prodigy is an engaging and effective game-based learning platform that helps to easily differentiate math content, personalize learning, foster a love of learning in the classroom, and so much more. For administrators, Prodigy is a tool that gives a bird's eye view on the entire district. It creates special reports and provides free support that assists with your school success plan. And for parents, Prodigy is a platform that allows more personalized insights and easy data reporting, which allows you to have stronger understanding of your child's math needs. And of course, for your children, Prodigy is an immersive experience where they can explore worlds as wizards, all while answering math questions to progress through the storyline. Whether you're an educator, a parent, or a teacher, Prodigy has some great features that you can use to empower your students or children. And these features are some of the reasons why so many users absolutely love Prodigy. But of course, let's tie this back to our students. Today, students face many different challenges when it comes to math. And let's take a closer look at what they are. In reviewing research on elementary students' attitudes towards math, we found a pattern. Students as young as the second grade here in the United States exhibit patterns of math anxiety. Research has shown that there is a negative correlation on achievement for students who do have math anxiety. Does this early onset of math anxiety impact their long-term academic achievement and potentially their college and career trajectory if not addressed? What are your thoughts? Let us know in the chat below. We're interested to see how you feel about this, since it's definitely something that can affect all of us in the world. But in addition, there's even neurocognitive implications when looking at math attitudes. Dr. Lang Chen at Stanford University led a team that in 2018 looked at neurocognitive responses with regard to math attitudes for children aged 6 to 10. And they found that positive attitude was associated with increased engagement of the hippocampus. Now, this is a critical finding because the hippocampus is a part of the brain that is largely responsible for our memory learning system. It's a fact. How we're feeling about what we're doing matters entirely, including math, that's for sure. Now, let's dive into the free teacher account, see how you can alleviate some of this math anxiety for your students and maybe even yourself. If you're a teacher, you can create a classroom in Prodigy with all of your students. Then you can use the assessments tool to align your class using assignments, plans, or test preps. Assignments quiz your students on a set of skills, plans align your students to a particular standard, and test preps prepare your students for their upcoming state standardized tests. A lot of great resources we have available here on our teacher dashboard. And some fun facts about teaching in general, that workspace for all of our wonderful educators. For many teachers, their favorite thing about Prodigy is that it automatically tracks all their students' work, correct answers and incorrect answers, of course. As well, it highlights concepts that students are currently finding challenging. And now this is extremely helpful when you need to do little things every day like differentiate content or deliver formative assessments for your class. In fact, a recent report has found that teachers spend about 7 hours per week for instructional researches, just kind of looking for more resources there, both free and paid, and another 5 hours per week creating their own instructional materials. That's a lot of time invested, and we want to help you to earn some of that time back. And you spoke up, and we listened carefully. We took many factors into serious consideration, and as a result, created the teacher dashboard. When you log in as a teacher, you can see the student usage widget front and center, which shows you how many questions your students are answering both inside and outside the classroom. The blue line represents questions being answered at school, and the purple line represents questions being answered after hours at home, giving you a better sense of how engaged your students are outside of school. In this case, it's actually showing the heaviest use on Monday and Tuesday, specifically at school. But you can also see below, there's some varying grade levels for your students, how they were placed out using that donut graph to review in the placement test results. It's not unusual to see this kind of variation in any given class due to the adaptive elements of Prodigy's gameplay. And in addition, the teacher has access to 8 reports available to them. You have the progress report, the student comprehension report, the student usage report, the weekly activity report, placement test report, assignments and plans report, the topic coverage report, and last but certainly not least, the curriculum coverage report. 8 whole reports here available to you in your arsenal on your teacher dashboards that you can access any day of the week. And let's go through them together. Now, the progress report lets you view student progress by grade level and strand content. I'm just going to give a quick glance at all these reports, and of course we can dive into them deeper on a different day if you're ever looking for some training on these specific outcomes. But the progress report has these bars representing what grade level each student is working at for each specific domain. This report is heavily based off the placement test data findings as well. The student comprehension report gives you a very in-depth look at an individual student's progress on Prodigy. This report highlights all activity on individual student accounts and the overall proficiency in math for that particular student. It's one of our best reports for that individual perspective, and it is a great tool for one-on-one intervention sessions or any sort of parent-teacher nights where you'd like to get a little bit more of that individual data. The student usage report is an overview of how your students are using Prodigy at school and at home. If you look close though, you can notice that school's practice and at-home practice is kind of very similar here. Many classrooms have actually experienced that in their home time, it's a dramatic increase of usage rather than at school, which signifies that many students are practicing math at home just as much, or if not more, than at school in the classroom. Really exciting to see. And this report is also updated in real time, so you can always track any of your students or your child's activity on Prodigy. And the weekly activity report. This report is a great one that shows what skills your students are working on and how they're doing on a week-by-week basis. Now, this is a more in-depth look on this one. This report highlights weekly skills that your students have worked on Prodigy and how well they've been performing for each one of these skills. It is broken down into 3 different categories as well, of students placing out below 60%, in between that 60 to 79%, and students above 80 as well, with some nice color visualization to help quickly understand your students' information. The placement test report. This one shows you class level placement test results, as well as an individual student by student breakdown. It's a diagnostic assessment that every student participates in Prodigy. And of course, it's a stealth test, so students never know that they're participating in it, not getting stressed out with any sort of math anxiety, but you're getting that accurate representation to understand how well that student is currently performing in mathematics. Here is a more in-depth breakdown. The placement test finds out which grade level students are working at for each specific domain, and an overall grade level in Prodigy. Keep in mind that even if you see a student in a lower grade bracket for one of the domains, they may be exceeding in other domains as well. This data is simply here for you to know exactly where they need assistance or what they may need assistance with or exceeding with as well, in case you'd like to push them a little bit further. And if you want an even more detailed view, you can click on a student to specifically see exact questions that they encountered during this placement test. Now, we have worked very hard to make student data accessible and easy for teachers to use. If they want to drill down on a more granular data basis for an individual student perspective to gain insights, they have the ability to do so right here. Now, the Assignments and Plans report gives you quick access to reports based on content that you've delivered using the Assessments feature. And here's another in-depth look at the Assessments tool. These green lines are the standardized test prep functionality that the teacher has added to this class and is using this alignment to help prepare their students for any upcoming standardized tests. While the purple line is an assignment quiz to test the student's knowledge with limited assistance. And the blue line is used to create plans to reinforce a standard with your class. Now, these can last for a variety of duration, over a week, maybe even 2 weeks, or maybe only a few days. And they will consist of math questions that will be played by the student, regardless of their location of play, at home or at school as well in the classroom. And all of these features encourage more practice, and they are especially great for upcoming test prep. Now, the topic coverage report is an overview of your students' progress on a per topic basis and highlights areas where students could use a little more practice. Here's a more close-up look on the topics report. Here you can see the topics that are being worked on in your class and who's struggling and or mastering these concepts. Hovering over any of these student names as well will show you their exact evaluation breakdown for each one of these specific topics. A lot of great visuals to help you quickly understand it too, if you're a little bit tight for time. And at last, the curriculum coverage report shows you the strands your students have mastered or find challenging and have been struggling with. Here's a little breakdown of the report. Visually, it is quite similar to our topic report, but instead, the curriculum report lets you see the strands that are being worked on in your class. Who's struggling or mastering these strands, of course. And once again, wonderful visual representation to help get a quick glance and understand where your students are at with a sample question provided for each one of these strands. Well, we do provide free training for all educators on the teacher dashboard. This training would be done for all the teachers in your school and will go more in depth on how to leverage this teacher dashboard in the classroom. If you would like to sign up for free training, we will be adding this link in the description, and we will definitely go more in depth into all sections of that teacher dashboard. We hope to see you there. And of course, we have a quote here from a happy teacher who's been using Prodigy in the classroom. And as part of the continuous feedback we receive from teachers, some explicitly state that they feel our game really helps to promote a growth mindset for their students. Take a moment to read here. Really nice to see, and we always love to hear from our teachers the positive influence Prodigy has had in the classroom for their students or families back at home. It's exactly what our company is all about, and we always love to see feedback like this. But next, let's dive into your free Prodigy parent account. Now, why do parents even need a Prodigy account, you may ask? Well, for parents, Prodigy is a way to get involved in their child's education and use a tool that builds confidence in math and in life while having fun at the exact same time. It is evident, though, that parents want to be involved in their children's academics. In a research study conducted by Pew Research Center in 2015, they found that over 90% of mothers and over 75% of fathers have talked to a teacher about their child's progress in the last year. They want to know and they want to be involved. And if you're a parent, that's exactly what you'll get on the Prodigy Parent Dashboard. You can see how your child is progressing while playing Prodigy, and this dashboard will give you an overview of your entire child's usage. Very exciting stuff with a couple more features we're going to touch upon shortly. But of course, parent and guardian support is absolutely critical when we want to connect with every student in the world, and of course make a great impact on their academic achievement. Now, let's jump over to our parent dashboard here. You can now view your child's progress. Simply head over to the top of your dashboard and click on the drop-down arrow beside your child's name, and then click the name of the child that you'd wish to see progress for. You will then see the entire dashboard for that child. In the navigation menu on the top left, you'll see a dashboard, goal setting, report card, curriculum coverage, and the Manage Child tabs. That's our main method of navigation for both the teacher and parent dashboard. Every sort of option to choose between filtering will always be located at the top left part of your screen. Now let's go through some of them together. First, let's take a look at the goals. These are goals that you set for your child daily, weekly, or monthly, and will encourage your child to practice math on Prodigy even more. Once they accomplish their goals, they'll then receive an in-game surprise. And these gifts are at the end of a goal completion are some exclusive in-game items that students get even more excited to play Prodigy for. A lot of encouragement there, and they definitely want to unlock all of these different rewards on their Prodigy account. Any recent activity will be summarized in our recent activity section. And this activity will be based on what your child is currently working on in Prodigy. And that way, you know exactly what is being covered in school and how you could potentially help back at home. Your child's grade level details are located at the top right of your main dashboard page. And this will show you what grade your child is currently working at. They may be surpassing their classroom or classroom grade level, or maybe be requiring a little bit more assistance there, or in fact, they might still be going through the placement test. Now, what is the placement test, you might ask? Well, of course, this test is automatically given to each newly registered student and child to align them to the appropriate level of proficiency. That way, the game is not too hard, not too easily, keeping everyone in their zone of proximal development while challenging them with the right amount of engaging fun. And as a parent, you can do a grade override if you wish. This can be used if your child is either struggling with a certain grade question or exceeding, and you'd like to push them a little bit further. You can then adjust the grade to be lower or higher. Just remember to keep the curriculum the same as the one they're learning in class, of course. That way, you can make sure that the math questions being answered by your child are a good fit for those upcoming tests in the classroom. And mind you, the teacher does also have ability to use the grade override feature for your child's account. So in case you're both very active with this resource, you might want to be mindful and connect the two and communicate with your staff members back in the school just to let them know that you've been changing the setting. Now, the weekly questions answered widget will show you a detailed graph on the amount of questions answered per week, at school, or back at home. This handy tool will give you all the numbers you're looking for. You can toggle and view each week's usage by clicking on arrows on a bottom bar. And if you need to jump back to the current week, just click on the This Week button. Similar to the student usage report, it will also show you the differentiation between color coding there and really what days of the week your students are most active on Prodigy. Now, the Curriculum Progress widget will show you how your child's progressing in the current curriculum. And it also gives you a view of the percentage of content completed in each grade level. And even more for curriculum coverage on our curriculum coverage report. Parents can quickly and easily see how their students are doing and how their children are doing progressing through the curriculum by viewing different skills their children are working on mastering. You can also see the badges that your child has earned, and this can be a springboard for positive discussion with your child regarding how they're doing in math, but framed in game context. A little bit more relatable for those gamers back at home. But now that you have a full breakdown of the dashboard, let's see how you can motivate your kids to do more math. Let's set up some goals together. Select the Goal Progress button underneath the name of your child's account that you'd like to set a goal for. Then click on Set Goal and choose the number of questions that you'd like your child to complete. But how does this motivate your kids? You might be asking, goals seems like a very simple concept, but a lot of drastic effects do come into play when setting these up for your child. And there's a lot of ways that kids engage with Prodigy. For instance, this is a screenshot of a Prodigy fan who streams nothing but Prodigy gameplay online. It allows kids to be more creative, and it keeps encouraging even more math practice. And for the record, there is no webcam feature in Prodigy. He added that overlay himself using some screen share recording software. Now, in the game of Prodigy, to win battles and advance through the game, they have to answer math questions. And as they progress, the story deepens and it captivates their imagination, all while making their math skills improve at the same time. So really an effective tool, motivating to keep working on their skills while having fun. What's better than that? And this is just one of the many different lands within Prodigy. The other characters with names you see are other students who are playing online, as well from around the world. And you can interact with other players, but interaction is rather limited to math battles, which both players need to primarily accept, and there is no open chat feature. During questions in Prodigy, kids have tools on the right side of their screen to help making thinking visible. There are virtual manipulatives like coins, counters, blocks, and fraction strips, of course, to help break down and understand these equations. They are available on every question within Prodigy and do change depending on the type of curriculum as well. Another key accessibility feature is the text-to-speech audio function at the top left of your screen. This is a nice audio-based prompt which reads out the question and multiple choice answers for any of your students who might struggle with reading English. It's most commonly used with first or second grade students who need a little bit of support for their reading skills. And finally, each question has a hint icon that can guide our students towards the full answer, but of course, without revealing it entirely. Still giving them a good tip in the right direction, but they will have to figure it out for themselves. And all these tools are there to help guide your student during their gameplay experience on Prodigy, and of course, they are all optional as well. And we are always evolving as a company, and so is our game. Math battles have proven to be engaging to the majority of students. However, we do need to recognize the needs of their diverse learning styles there as well, and preferences. In response to feedback, we developed Focus Mode, a brand new feature in Prodigy that significantly boosts time on task, exclusive for partnered schools. It allows teachers to lock their students' gameplay experience into Tower Town, a new world within Prodigy. Now, Tower Town, as you see on screen here, is a more creative gameplay experience that allows students to build towers by answering math questions. Each floor in their towers represents a different math skill. And the catch is, to build each floor, a student has to answer 10 questions correctly or fully master a skill, resulting in students answering even more math questions than a typical battle. And once your child has completed that goal that you set for them before, you will receive an email saying your child has accomplished this goal, and now you can send them an in-game reward. Pretty exciting. You'll get a little notification just like this one here on your dashboard, and at the left there, that's what it will look like for your students or your child. And after you've provided their reward, you'll be prompted to set another goal for your child, and your child will receive an additional in-game notification with that previous reward. Pretty exciting stuff, but speaking of rewards, let's dive into some rewards for your parents. And one of the best ones, of course, is our report cards here. We've got some exciting report cards available on your parent dashboard. And in your report cards, you can find total evaluation, the goals completed, and an evaluation breakdown in this section. Report cards will give you access to monthly data and monthly report cards in general that will be emailed to you at the end of each month. And even if you've deleted your emails, no worries there. We do keep it on record for you, and that way you can always have a full overview of your child's progress right at your fingertips, ready to go. And also, the report card tab has additional handy features that you should check out. Similar to the curriculum coverage tab, the report card gives you an overview of how your child is progressing in Prodigy through each domain and through the curriculum as well. So it's a more in-depth breakdown for you to see if your child needs assistance and where exactly that is. And of course, in case you need to change your child's password or name, just simply visit the Manage Child tab, the same location where you can do the grade override functionality. And that wraps up our parent dashboard. Now, we have another quote on screen here from a very active parent in our Prodigy community. And in this case, we see the testimonial is from a family whose child's mindset was completely shifted, and they wanted us to know about it. It really is wonderful to see the positive influence and the positive impacts Prodigy has had on children around the world who've been struggling with math, believing they're not a math student, but after playing our game and falling in love with it, anyone's really becoming a math student. That's the whole purpose of our growth mindset, where anyone can achieve these things. Maybe they're not there yet, but they will be there someday. And we got a little bit of an interesting thought here. Another poll question to ask the group. We'll give you a couple seconds to reply to this one here, of course. But just wondering, does parents' involvement influence anything on the child's math anxiety? Interesting concept. Something that isn't spoken about as much as it was nowadays spoken about a lot more than it was back in the day before. A new concept, a new phenomenon in general. So we'd love to hear what you think. And we'll give you a couple seconds to do so. All right. And the answer is yes, they do. You know, a study conducted by Cassad, Hale, and Walks indicated that parental anxiety with math greatly influences their child's success. And the variables that impact the most are a child's GPA in math, their math self-efficacy, and the attitude they have towards math in general. The behavior comes out of how they value their success in math. So when a parent's getting just as nervous as a child, it can be a little bit influential. And that's why we have the parent dashboard as simplified as possible, as user-friendly as possible, to help you and your child learn, overcome your anxieties, and really get the most out of our resource. Now, to circle this back to our mission of helping every student around the world to love learning, there is one piece that's absolutely necessary, and without it, we would be nowhere. Anyone want to take a guess? We'll give you a couple seconds to put your answers in the chat. Now, at Prodigy, we believe education is a basic human right. And of course, without teachers and parents like you who also believe this mission, we wouldn't be anywhere. And that's why the exact piece that's missing. And because of you and your great support, we've created a Prodigy Parent Facebook community for parents and guardians who want to help their children grow more confident in math and beyond. Tons of advocates are active in this program on a daily basis in this group. You're all welcome to join, of course, if you're ever interested in learning more about how you can get involved as a parent, best practices, more information about our memberships, or even just hearing straight from other parents around the world who are advocates of our program. We highly recommend you checking it out. The invite-only Champions Club for teachers who have been the MVP of Prodigy in their own classrooms. Share it with fellow teachers and parents. It's a wonderful resource where you can complete challenges on your account to unlock points that you can then redeem for memberships for your students, swag potentially if you're looking to get a cool t-shirt, or even some gift cards for yourself personally to splurge a little bit after that hard work and effort working on that math homework. And of course, Prodigy Partners, our free VIP partnership program that helps bring the incredibly engaging and effective math platform from individual classrooms to entire districts. We have an entire onboarding process, support process, and want to help cater and customize to the needs of each of your individual schools and campuses. Of course, if you're looking for more info about our Prodigy Partners program, we will have a link in the description, and we highly recommend checking it out. But that does come to the end of tonight's webinar. I did want to thank you all, of course, for tuning in to the very first of our Prodigy webinar series, getting to know us a little bit better, and hope you've gleaned something valuable. Next month, Prodigy webinars will be hosted by Dr. Josh Pryor, where gamification in today's education will be discussed, along with the myths that linger around gamification and its impact it has on students' learning. So be sure to keep an eye out for that one. It's going to be a great session. And we also have added a list of resources for your convenience. Please check the description of this video to gain access on how to create your own parent or teacher account and just some general inquiries and information. Also, we have added a survey link, and if you could please take 5 minutes to provide us feedback on what you liked about this webinar, what you might not have liked, and what you'd like to see more of in the future, so we can definitely improve for next time. Now, once again, did want to thank everyone in our chat for attending today's webinar. We have some spare time here, of course, to answer any questions that you may have regarding Prodigy, parent dashboard, teacher dashboard, gameplay itself. The floor is yours. And I do see from our poll before that we had a good amount of attendance from Texas. So shout out to Texas, of course. Nice to see you all attending today's webinar. Okay. Now it's looking like we're getting, okay, so we've had an issue with Tower Town not letting people build some floors there before. So that could be an interesting situation happening there. Now, Tower Town is a brand new added feature over the last few weeks on Prodigy. So there could have been a developer glitch there, but I think for the most part, that might have just been an issue with not finishing or mastering the skill fully there as well. But for any teacher who has, or parent, of course, who has had an issue like this specifically, please reach out to our support line at support@prodigygame.com. If you're ever experiencing any sort of bugs like this, we always want to resolve them and make sure your experience is as enjoyable as possible. And we have a question asking, how long does focus mode stay on for? So as of right now, we did initially have it as a duration of 1 hour at maximum, and really the only duration available. We have received some great feedback from teachers actively using focus mode in the classroom and wanting the ability to adjust and manipulate the duration of focus mode. So we definitely will be looking to include that in future updates of our software, but as of right now, it stays on for 1 hour and it automatically turns off after by default. Looking like we're getting another question here, of course. So how much time is recommended to play Prodigy? Well, great question there. Actually, recently with our partnership of Johns Hopkins University and our Data Guild, we have actually found to see an academic increase on the STAR test in Texas. Students need to play Prodigy for about 9 minutes a week to get an academic increase in their achievement there. And that equates to about 10 to 15 minutes per day for your students on Prodigy. So as little as that may be, doesn't sound like too much to make a dramatic impact on their academic achievement. And if your children or students are having fun, let them go for a little bit longer than 15 minutes, and you'll be surprised to see the impact it has on their report card. Oh, okay, we have another question coming up. What browser technology is being used to play Prodigy? Now, the software is HTML5, and that is available on all different browsers, no matter which one you're using, Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, you will be available to play Prodigy, of course. And if you're a mobile user, we have our game device agnostic as well on the App Store and on Android. So you're covered. We got you ready to go. You just got to get your free account going and jump on Prodigy and start answering some questions. Oh, we had someone who unfortunately missed the beginning of our presentation here today, just wondering, what idea did Prodigy start from? Well, it was really the inspiration of math being repetitive, tedious, and just simply unenjoyable for our CEOs when they were young growing up. And in fact, they found so much fun playing video games at home as well. They thought, how can one thing in life be so enjoyable while another just be absolutely miserable? Trying to find that perfect solution to combine the two. And then when our CEOs were in University of Waterloo in their 4th year program for their undergraduate study, they comprised Smart Teacher, really just taking the insight from math students around the world, having math anxiety, not enjoying their time studying math, and trying to combine that with the passion of enjoying video games so much through our game-based learning platform. Really innovative, really exciting to see. And personally, I wish it existed when I was a kid. I know I would have gone crazy for it. Oh my gosh. Okay, and we got a couple more minutes here for any last second questions if anyone still has in the chat. So what is a partnership? A partnership is our school support team over here at Prodigy, helping to train all of your staff members at your school, provide academic increase in your achievement, and really just support your school in any unique way possible. We're entirely here to support you and make sure that your time on Prodigy is a success, and the entire partnership in general will be free. And all of our support and all of our training as well. Might sound too good to be true, but definitely check out the link in our description and you can find out for yourself. We would love to support any school using Prodigy in the classroom to really make sure it's being used effectively with efficacy and intent to get the most use out of our platform. Great questions though. Good stuff, chat. I'm enjoying the engagement we're getting today so far. What is the highest level your character can achieve? Great question there as well. As I have seen, it is level 100 for any wizard in Prodigy. Pretty long time until you can get there. Being a multi-massive online multiplayer RPG there, it could take a lot of math practice there, but really exciting to see. If a student's account has gotten to level 100, that's a lot of engagement, that's a lot of curriculum progress. And in addition to that, students are able to keep their account throughout each grade year in their school. So they can continuously progress on their wizard, finally reaching that level 100 goal if that's what they desire. So we have another question coming out. How does the parent account intertwine with the teacher account? Now, they both connect through the exact same student account. Technically, the parent and teacher dashboards don't have any interactivity. The only thing would be the grade override functionality, which they both have access to change the level of curriculum that child is encountering. But for the most part, they both get to review their own separate reports. Parents get to create goals, where teachers get to create alignments. Oh, and we have another question here that, what is Prodigy planning on working on in the future? And currently, we are primarily focused on mastering all aspects of the mathematics domains. We would love to work on more worlds, more opportunities in the future, but we got to stay tuned for that exciting opportunity. As of right now, just focusing on your math curriculum and making sure it's as up-to-date, effective, and aligned to any standards across America, across the world in general, to make sure everyone has access to our free math learning practice tool. Okay, got a couple more minutes now for a few questions if anyone else has anything burning they'd like to hear the answer to, of course. Oh, it looks like we have, are you planning on bringing Prodigy Epics back? Very exciting feature that was in our game so far. And I believe we are not, unfortunately. It was a very exciting time for Prodigy's development where Toys to Life, I believe, was the type of product that was called, where you'd get an actual figure of your epic with a code that you can use to redeem them in-game. It was a very exciting time for us, but only digital codes will be giving out as certain prizes for tournaments down the line for partnered schools. So if you are interested in getting an epic for your child, maybe you should have them reach out to see if they can sign up for one of our Prodigy exclusive tournaments. But as of right now, the physical product will be removed and discontinued. Thank you for all your support and enjoyment of enjoying Epic's Pets so far. Okay, and I think we have enough time for one more question here today before we wrap up today's webinar. Oh, okay, well, this one's not as much of a question, but just some nice feedback. Prodigy, literally the best game on the web, the best math game specifically. So thank you for sharing that, of course. Really, really exciting stuff. We always love to hear the support we get from happy families and teachers. Oh, and here we go. How much time do you recommend kids to spend on Prodigy daily? Once again, we have proven to see an academic increase there, that you do want to have 10 to 15 minutes a day. And of course, screen time is something that we should be aware of for all parents and all teachers in the world. But as long as they have access to a certain amount there, around 20 minutes, you will see a great increase in their math proficiency. And they're having fun at the exact same time, maybe even completing some goals that you've set on your parent account. Oh, actually, we have a pretty exciting question here asking, when is Ice Tower coming out? Ice Tower going to be a new expansion, a new feature in our product, of course. A lot of different product features coming out from Prodigy in the world. And I would say you're going to have to stay tuned for that one there. We don't have an exact timeline that we can reveal currently, but excited to hear how interested you are, and definitely be on the lookout for any future updates like that. Okay, well, I think that will wrap up today's webinar. I really appreciate everyone taking time out of your busy days to learn some more, get some more involvement in Prodigy, get excited about how to get involved with your child's education, and really just encourage you to come out for our next webinar to learn some more about game-based learning with Dr. Josh Pryor. Once again, thank you, everyone. My name is Matt. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on board. Thank you so much. Have a great night.